This is the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, your number one source of information, education, and entertainment. For honest, responsible, and dependable information, we stand supreme. To stay focused, inspired, and relaxed, choose green. Ekabo, and welcome once again to the Ifa Orisa Traditional Community Discussion program. I would open the program with an Iba. Open Nifun Oloru, Iba Oludumare Oba Ajiki, Mojiloni, Mowogu Meriaye, Iba Ila Orun, Iba Iwo Orun, Iba Ariwa, Iba Gusu, Iba Oba Egbalie, Iba Orun Oke, Iba Baba, Iba Yeye, Iba Atiwo Orun, Ibashe Igungun Kiki Igungun, Ibashe Ori, Ori Ino, Ipori Atiwo Orun, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right, for this week, I am going to read an article from the president of the ICIR. I would try to omit some of the parts of the article that might be a little bit controversial, and I would simply try to read the parts that I consider to be somewhat informative, as we just went past one of the time when we have the annual reading each year. All right. This particular article was posted on the 8th of June, and the title for the article is Setting the Records Straight, and it's from the Office of the President of the International Council for Ifa Religion. All right, I would go down to about the fifth or sixth paragraph. It reads, the issue of the World Ifa Festival or divination has become a contentious one, creating rivalry in some quarters. Why would this be so? I have received some insulting messages from some Ifa practitioners from Ile Ife before the World Ifa divination at Ikiti this year, asking me to stop the divination. It is an established fact that Oren Miller spent most of his lifetime in Ikiti land than in any other place in the world. There are several Ifa verses and enough social anthropological landmarks in Ikiti land to support Oren Miller's place of abode while on earth. Therefore, having the World Ifa divination at Edo Ikiti is not a misnomer. Moreover, any temple, council, or association with branches or chapters in other countries has the right to cast a World Ifa divination as it relates to their members worldwide, regardless of the number of times that Ifa is cast. The core message of Ifa remains the same. It is a known fact that the origin of the Yoruba race in Ile Ife is not questionable. And the truth is that Ife, be it Ife Odei, Ife Oyelagbo, Ife Akilubebe, Otu Ife, Ife Abure, or Ile Ife was the source of human existence. That site was where all the 801 Iromoles responsible for making our planet Earth habitable for the habitation of all living beings landed when Oludumare gave them this assignment. All the Iromoles, without exception, made Ife their operational base. They worked there and from there achieved the assignment given to them by Oludumare. They also ensured that all living beings, human and non-human, lived on Earth without a problem. When Oludumare changed the creation process to procreation, when human and non-human beings began to multiply through sexual intercourse as against the creation process, all the Iromoles were in Ife. But the story did not end there. Ifa explained that even though the Iromoles stayed in Ife at that period, most of them did not achieve their individual identities until they moved out of Ife to settle in other parts of the world. They were able to achieve their individual destinies in various parts that they moved to, and they made those places their permanent places of abode. There is no argument about this at all. If nobody contests the facts that Ire is the home of Ogun, and not anyone contests Igede as the home of Oshun, or Itile as the home of Shango, or Ijelu as the home of Eshuodara, or Irawolan as the home of Orisha Oko. The list is long and contentious. My question is, why is it a contentious issue or controversy if the International Council for Ifa Religion decides to celebrate the annual World Ifa Pilgrimage and Festival at Edo Ikiti? Ejiogbe has shown us how Ori placed all the Imales in their respective places of abode. Oronmila was thrown and settled at Oke Igeti by Ori. Have we even bothered to ask where is Oke Igiti situated? It is it Ife or Edo Ikiti? I say it without fear or any contradiction that Oke Igeti is in Edo Ikiti. Oke Igeti is a hill. The hill is Edo Ikiti. The hill in Ife is Oke Itashe. Oke Itashe is the abode of Obaluaye. When Oduduwa invited Orunmila to come back to Ife to be his personal doctor, he stayed with Obaluaye, his personal friend, and whose abode was close to the home of Oduduwa. The facts are there for everyone to see. The site being called Oke Igeti in Ife is not a hill. This fact is also there for all to see. When I was the editor-in-chief of Oronmila magazine, I interviewed the late Araba Awosope. May he receive the blessings of the Himalayas and Olodumare in his abode among the Igungun, the Araba den of Ife, and I asked him what to expect to see at Oke Igiti to be sure that the site is actually Oke Igiti. This question became necessary at the time because we could not easily find Oke Igiti. He listed 5 things that will be found to authenticate the findings and confirm it as Oke Igiti. It is of interest that all of the 5 signs mentioned by the late Araba are in Oke Igiti, in Edo Ikiti. It is also of interest that none is in this newly discovered Oke Igiti in Ile Ife. Also, the same question was put to the late Baba Aniye of blessed memory, who, until his passing, was the one casting the annual consultation in Ile Ife. He listed 4 landmarks that will be seen on Oke Ikiti. All these were found in Edo Ikiti. None is in Ile Ife. I stand to be challenged on these facts. Bullying and intimidation, name calling, and expletives have no effect on me. Stones, baton, machetes, and broken bottles can break my bones, but name calling cannot and will not. If we are looking for peace, it must be peace based on truth, honesty, and respect. I do not think the graveyard peace is what we need at this point in time. Aboro, Aboye, Olowo, Enla Solagbade Popola, President of the ICIR. All right, so basically, that gives some in depth background about the annual festivals that are held on 2 different locations, both places being considered sacred and having a close association with Orunmila, Ileri Ipe. Okay, now for us in the diaspora, we are not interested really in taking sides, but for us, it is essential for us to have some sort of historical understanding of things of this nature. And this is the reason why I read the article. All right. From my own personal research, what I've discovered is there are several essays that describes uh, Orunmila place of dwelling and abode. There are other stories that are told that explain how he ended up in Ile Ife. All right, I have read one personally that spoke about him visiting his friend Obatala. This particular one that the president of the ICIR mentioned was him being the personal doctor, right, and visiting and being close to where Obaluaye resided. All right, so basically, that is the lesson for this week. These sacred places are the places where the divination is done annually for the devotees of the Ifa Orisa community worldwide. Whether you choose to follow Ile Ife or Iketi, that's a choice that you and your lineage, your Ojugbona, your Olowo, those in authority would guide you on. All right. My intention is not to tell people, who they should follow and what they should follow. All right. The reason I read this article is just as a means of providing some basic information so that we would understand why the 2 different venues exist for the annual readings and the annual divination and the celebration of the festivals. Okay. All right. And with that, let me do my weekly plugin. I would first speak on the African Indigenous Tradition Community that holds its meetings every Tuesday at 5 p.m. at the Barataria Community Center on 6th Avenue opposite the Recreation Ground. Other than these classes, there are also two other programs like this one, right? One of them is the traditional herbal health show, which is held every Friday at 5, every Sunday, sorry, at 5 p.m. Then there is the Ifa Bemero show, which is every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. And this show, which is every Friday at 6:30, which is the Ifa Orisa Community Discussion. We also have virtual classes on a Wednesday, astrology classes at 6:30 p.m. And on a Friday, we have virtual etymology classes also for persons who are interested in educating themselves on other aspects of the tradition. All right, now in terms of where you could view this stream as well as similar streams, right, I would tell you which Facebook groups or platforms that actually have these videos where you can stream, where you could view the streams. All right. You can view the streams on the traditional Herbal Health Network International. You can view them also on the Ifa Orisha Institute of Sacred and Divine Sciences, on the Ifa Orisha Tradition Discussion Group of TNT, on the Ifa Orisha Community Congress, on the African Indigenous Tradition Community, on the Orisha Baptist Small and Medium Business Alliance, on the Orisha Baptist Teaching Moments, on the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, on the IFA Orisha Tradition Teaching Group of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as the Ifa Bemero Home of Ifa Orisha Tradition. The videos could also be viewed on YouTube on the Ifa Bemero Home of Ifa Orisha Tradition. All right. And folks, remember, we are not a commercially sponsored network, right? This is basically a voluntary program. We do not receive sponsorship. All right. So we are quite liberal in discussing things that are of issue or things that are of interest to the Ifa Orisha community. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to type it in the comment section. All right, I would like to say thank you for viewing, and we would see you next week. Odabo.